Hi guys, Chef Kevin Belton here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, what I want to do today is going to be great for brunch. You know, in just a week we have Mother's Day coming up, and if you want to make this for mom for a brunch, hey, I tell you what, I think this is a great idea. Now, all of you know how much I love bacon. Well, this is like, I call it a bacon pie, all right? Pretty much you can put whatever you want in it, but basically it's very similar to a quiche. Now, what I have, I'm starting off with 4 eggs. When you see the recipe is going to talk about white pepper and salt to season it with. I love using white pepper with eggs. Problem is, I went in the cabinet and was all out of white pepper, so I'm using a little fresh ground black pepper, okay? But normally with the eggs, I love white pepper. It just adds a nice flavor. So we have 4 eggs, and they're large eggs. So we're just going to whisk these together. Now, if you make a quiche or like an egg pie like we're doing, depending on how thick you want it, how many eggs you use. Here I use 4 eggs, and I'm using 1 cup of milk. You could use 6 eggs and use 3/4 cup of milk for a stronger eggy flavor. But here, let's just get the milk in. We're going to whisk this in. And you know what I want to find? I don't know if you all remember growing up. I grew up with my mom and my grandmother had one of those egg beaters where you could stand there and turn it, and that's the way you whipped up egg whites. Well, here, using something like that in your eggs will keep them nice and light and fluffy, because basically all you're doing is whipping some air into them. Now, I'm just doing this really good to make sure we get that salt and dissolved and that pepper in there really good. So now it's just a matter of putting in things that you like, okay? For me, I love an onion flavor with eggs. So basically I took a white onion, a sweet onion I should say, cut it in half and then cut it in thin strips along with a little red bell pepper. Now, if you want bell pepper, you can use the green, you can use an orange, a yellow. I like the red and the orange and the yellow for this because they're a little sweet. You know, green peppers have that little bit of tang to them, but the colored peppers have a little bit of sweetness. That's why I'm doing that. The other thing here I have some green onions and I have a little cilantro. So parsley or cilantro, whatever you like, all right, you go in. And of course, I took 3 strips of bacon, cut them up, just crisp them in the pan, and I also took some breakfast sausage, and I just wanted to brown this off really good. Now, if you have a vegetarian, okay, of course, we're doing it and calling it a bacon pie, but of course, we could put vegetables in this. We could do some thinly sliced carrots, maybe some little pieces of broccoli cut up really fine and fold that in and make this totally vegetarian. But here, we're going to do a meat lovers. So let's get this in. And you know, this is one of those things where the kids can help because all we're doing is mixing this together. Now, of course, with eggs, I like a little cheese. So it's almost like we're doing an omelet. I'm using a jack cheese. A cheddar cheese will work, but I like a little jack cheese in it. And I have the oven preheating at 350 degrees. Now, I have a 9-inch pie shell that we're going to do it. Look at this. Look how pretty this is. Look at the colors in there. And that's before we even put it in the pie shell, okay? And today I'm just using a store-bought pie shell. All right? If you want to make a pie shell from scratch, you can. Let's just pour this in. Oh, come on. We have a little goodness trying to stay out of there. Excuse me putting the backside of the bowl to you while I get this out. Now, just take your spoon, just kind of spread this around a little bit. See, this is what I was talking about, the number of eggs and the amount of milk. You don't want to do too much, you don't want to overdo it. So now this is going to go in the oven, and this will bake roughly about and 30 to 40 minutes, all right? Now, we're gonna put a web of bacon on top of this. So I'm gonna show you what I did. Let me get this in the oven, because while this is cooking, I want you to do your bacon weave as well and get that in the oven as well, okay? So let me get this started. And of course, I don't know if you saw that, when you're trying to get it in, of course it spilled out a little bit. That's why I use that pan underneath. So what I've done here, I've taken bacon and I've made a weave. Basically, there's 5 pieces going this way, 4 coming this way. Basically, lift up these 2 ends, put a piece down, and then fold them back and lay it across. Put them back down, then fold the 2 ends and back. Basically, you're making a weave. I went ahead and baked this off 350 degrees, put it on a sheet pan, did it until I got to this texture that we are right now, okay? See, it's not crunchy, still a little pliable, because if you bake this off separately while your eggs are cooking, when you get it to this texture, or if you want it a little crisper, you can. Go ahead, take it out of the oven, let it cool a little bit, so when your pie is ready, take it out of the oven, and all you have to do is slide this on the top. Now, of course, I don't know if you all like savory and sweet. I love savory and sweet. So I took a little Steen's cane syrup. When I put this on top of the egg pie, I brush it with a little Steen's cane syrup. And I tell you what, putting it back in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes gives it a nice glaze to it, a nice shine to it. Look at this one that I have already done. That shine, look, you can almost see the difference. That shine is from the Steen's. Now, if you don't have Steen's, which is made from cane syrup, I should say, it's made from sugar cane syrup. If you don't have the Steen's, you can always use a maple syrup. You can use just any kind of breakfast syrup if you want. All right, any kind of pancake syrup, just to give that little bit of sweetness with that bacon. So as we cut this, we're going to have that sweetness on the top with all of that savory goodness on the inside. Now, something else I like to do when I do this, I like to mix it up. Sometimes I'll put some tomatoes in. Take little cherry tomatoes, cut them in half, and put those in, because I love the flavor of the bacon and the tomatoes together. If you want, when you take it out of the oven, if you want to brush it again, you could give it another brush for another coating on the top, just depending on how sweet you want it. But when you put this in the oven, back in, it only takes 5 to 10 minutes for that syrup to seal on the top. So, hey gang, get yourself some eggs, get yourself some breakfast sausage bacon, or whatever you happen to have in the refrigerator. Make do with what's there, all right? And I think this will give you a great start to having a fantastic brunch. And if you want to make this for Mom for Mother's Day, I know she's really going to like it, okay? I'm glad you joined me today. Be safe. For WWL, I'm Chef Kevin Belton, and have yourself an egg-tastic pie day.